Welcome to the part 2 of the Toxic Magazine, Everything is Old School podcast. We are talking today with women who grew up without their father in their lives. Earlier, we had a 21-year-old young lady, and now for part 2, we're going to the next level, the next generation.
Not the next.
Well,
The next
older. Oh, okay, next 2. So I want you to introduce yourself, please, Anna. Introduce yourself to the people.
Well, my name is Anna Nieves, and I'm a senior citizen, 64 years old. I live in St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay, now you, Keisha, groceries. Introduce yourself.
Groceries. Hi, my name is Takesha Washington. I'm in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
And how old are you?
I'm gonna say I'm 45 with some other numbers.
You look gorgeous. You look no younger than 30.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we're gonna start this off. Now we're about to get serious.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Now you both mentioned your ages, so I wanna start this off with you, Anna. Now I asked some of the same questions to the earlier interview, but they still pertain to you two as well. And I have some different ones for you guys because you are a little older than a lot older than the one that we had earlier.
Right.
So those questions will fit in as well. So I want to start with you, Anna, and I want you to answer to Keisha when she's done because it's relevant.
Okay.
And at what age did you realize that your father wasn't in your life?
I didn't realize it until I was when I was about about 5, 6, 7 years old. And my father left me, I was about 3 years old. So I didn't, between those years, 3, 4, I didn't realize it. Knew something was missing, but I was about 7 when I realized that I didn't have a father.
So you said he left when you were about 3. So coming up, you like a little kid, you didn't have any remembrance of him, 6, 7, 8?
No, not until when I got older, started getting flashback and remembering him. You know, because when you're a baby, you don't remember so much, but I vaguely remembered him. I have small pieces and vague spots of remembrance of my father when I was young, when I was a baby, but when I got older, I didn't know my father.
Okay,
I knew he existed.
You knew he existed, but you didn't know where he was, or
Exactly.
How about you, Keisha? How old were you when you realized your father wasn't in your life?
I mean, I just never knew. He was never there. I always had an uncle figures and that kind of stuff, so I never had a father figure, period.
Oh, okay. But do you know of
when I realized that my other siblings had dads and that was calling them dad except me, I probably was the same age she was, like 5, 6, 7.
Now, Keisha, did it bother you when you would see your friends with their fathers and
absolutely
be around?
Yes, it bothered me because you see them doing things with their father. And at that time, my younger sister father was in the picture. So you see him taking that time out with her, and when you're a kid, you want the same thing everybody else is getting. That affection, that loving from a father. But my sister dad didn't want to share that part with me. You know how some men, they come into a relationship when a woman have children and they try to step in and fill that slot. He never stepped in and filled that slot.
Oh, can you keep that light bright as possible, Keisha?
Is it better?
It's going in and out.
Going in and out? Probably from the sun.
Okay. So same question for you, Anna. When you saw your friends with their fathers, how did that make you feel, if you can remember?
To be honest, I really can't remember nobody being with their father. All I can remember is I had a stepfather.
Oh,
And my stepfather, he he only catered to my younger sister. So we never called him daddy, dad, or nothing like that, or pop. We always called him by his first name. And
oh,
he never treated us like we were his own. You
oh,
know, never
that's
treated.
good, Keisha. Oh, okay.
Only my younger sister. I don't know what my mother said to him to make him think that, she was like, I don't know, the cream of his eye or something, the pie, I don't know, but she was the only one that can treat to like sit on his lap and act like a little girl and everything and just spoil. And meanwhile, we was like, do this, do that, do that. He didn't treat us like if we was his. So,
Oh,
it was really hard growing up with a stepfather. And then he turned into an alcoholic. And then things happened in the house, so, good.
so when did it start bothering you to know, like, I don't have a father, or I'm not getting the love that?
When I really realized it is when I was 12 or 13 years old.
Mm,
That's when I started really, really needing the father image around him, because I thought that maybe life would have been better for me if I had my father around me.
you
You
mean
know,
now you think that, or back
I'm
then?
talking about back then when I was younger. I used to think that way, that my life would have been so much better and different if I had a father,
Oh, okay.
somebody
Same,
to love me, you know,
right. Same question
from
for
a
you.
from a male's point of view, from a father,
Yeah,
not from the mother, from the male, to have that love.
makes sense. Same question for you, Keisha. When did it start to bother you? Um, when you realized you didn't have a father, about what age did it start taking effect on you?
Um, when it was very clear, like she said, with the stepfather not really wanting to be bothered, my stepfather molested me when I was 5. So my mother kept him in the picture. And when you're a kid, there's nothing you can do. So I attached myself to my brother, and I attached myself to one of my uncles that had lived the closest to me.
Amen. Yeah.
But it was hard, and it was difficult, because I always felt if my father would have been in my life, the things that I went through growing up, I wouldn't have went through them.
Um,
Exactly.
so
And
that's
that
what
was
you have. You guys have that in common. You both said
Yes,
the
we
right.
same
do,
thing.
because the same thing happened. Her story is my story. I was molested as well when I was a baby. And mine started when I was 7 years old.
Oh my goodness. And obviously you guys felt that if your father was in the picture,
Yeah.
that would never happen.
That's what we feel, but
That's what we
sometimes,
feel, right?
but
But
you don't know,
that might not
because
be the truth.
that's right. That's
Hmm.
right. Because I have known girls that had their father and their father molested them.
Right, absolutely.
Their own father, their own blood. So we don't know what it could have been.
Right. So
But we
And
Keisha,
what?
know we was hopefully thinking and dreaming and wishing
Right,
that it could be
right.
that. But my
right.
mother
What?
used to tell me, no, and your father ain't this, your father ain't that,
My
he
mother
ain't,
did that too.
and
Mm.
then when you find out for yourself he ain't,
But that's what it took. It took me to become an adult to realize if my father wanted anything to do with
come
me,
on,
he
he
would
would have
have
been there,
he'd have reached out.
would have
He
been
would have
there.
contacted. He always knew where my family was.
That's right.
He knew how
Amen.
to find my mom. And actually, um, a few years ago, my mother seen him, and he helped my mother with luggage, with her groceries in the house. And she telling me she seen him. He stood in the kitchen. They was conversating, but not one time he mentioned, well, where is my daughter? Do I have any grandchildren? And when she played the story out to me, and then she said, oh, when the next time I'll see him, I'll get his number. I was like, I don't even want to know him, because outside of hello, the first thing I would have said was, where's my kid? Like, where's my daughter? Where is she? What's going on?
Right. I can
You can't
understand
miss
that.
anything that you never had. And I you know what I'm saying, I never had that. So that part, you hurt for it, you want it because you think it's supposed to be that way, but
Right.
who knows? Only God knows the reason why it worked out the way it worked.
Makes sense. Now, Anna,
Good.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Um, well, actually, each question is for both of you, but you'll just
Okay.
answer one at a time.
Right, right,
Okay.
right.
Since you didn't have your father in your life and you had the lack of male love, did did that affect the way you chose love or like the way you
Yes,
were
it
looking
did.
for girlfriends? Could you explain how?
Well, first of all, you're always looking for love in the wrong places and you don't even know what you're looking for.
Right.
And then when you get it, you think it's love because you never
Never had
experienced
it.
it. So you go along with it, you get hurt, and you do it again. You dust yourself off and you keep doing it again. And as much as you do it, as much as you go and look for love, you always wind up bumping your head and finding the wrong kind of love because you don't know what you're looking for. You don't know what kind of love to expect in a man because we was never taught that.
Mm.
So we just get the wrong kind of man all the time.
And you
Or
never had an example,
well,
correct? Like,
I never had an
I'm
example.
asking. Sorry?
No, I never had an example
Right.
of
Because
how to
like,
treat a women, how men supposed to, how women's men, when women is supposed to love a man and what kind of man to look for, what to look for in a man.
right,
I didn't know that.
because your father wasn't there.
Right.
Correct. Same question for you, Keisha. Did it did it affect you choosing boyfriends and how you looked for love?
Absolutely, because that's all I was looking for was for somebody to have love and compassion for me, but I wasn't shown the right way to go. So I consistently made the wrong choices and the wrong decisions. And
Now, okay, go ahead.
from I had to, as I grew up and I'm having my own children and I'm raising my children, I had to, along with them, to teach them and show them. I was had to teach and learn and show myself so I can get on the right decision on what would be best for me and my children. I couldn't bring somebody in a house to just dismiss my kids. That couldn't happen.
Right, right. That makes sense. So you're both saying that the choices that you've made, some of the choices that you both made with judging men were a direct reflection of not having a father in your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You could, is that accurate, Anna?
Yeah. I didn't know what to look for.
Okay,
Didn't
makes
know
sense.
what to look for in a man. So
And
anything can go.
and when you're a little girl and you see a lot, you grew up in like my house was an abusive household. So you always look for that Superman, like somebody that can save you from everything. But you don't realize, just because somebody doing something for you, showing you something that you never seen, and with you being young, you make the wrong choices and realize like what he was doing, that wasn't
That's
love, that
not
was
love.
that was controlling,
That
you
wasn't
know,
love. Right.
right. And
Yes.
unfortunately, you have to learn it the hard way. But either way, I had to learn it because I got daughters, and I have to teach them and show them.
Yes.
Right. That's wow. That's very interesting. So
Yeah.
there seems to be a common denominator for women that don't have fathers in their life. They all seem to experience the same thing
Right,
somehow. Is not having a father is the root of decision making when it comes to men.
right.
So that's deep. So what I wanted to ask you, Keisha, is how has it affected you so far? And
It
not
affects.
not just choosing men, but just in your personal life or inside your soul. How does it affect you? How does it make you feel? Never having a father in your life.
Um, I felt empty. I felt, you know, the first man, my grandmother always said the first man that loves you is your father. So I have issues with abandonment
Mhm.
because that's all it was. He was never there. You know, everything was, and my mom, I don't want to talk bad about my mother because my mother's a strong woman, but she just made bad choices when it came to
Same
her
with my
children.
mother. Hmm.
Yeah, when it came to her children and proper choices, you know, she didn't make, you know, especially concerning myself, her daughter. But
Uh-huh.
it's just hard because you want that love and you want that affection, you want that person that's going to protect you, feel like you're protected with that person, not just physical protection but just mental, just there for you.
Right.
And when you don't have it, and you never had a direction to turn to go to it, you don't even know what it is if it comes across you.
Now you don't know what you're looking for.
Right, you don't know what you're looking for until after you get into it, you know. So, but it took me, I had to back up and just love myself more, focus on my children and and I have sons and daughters, so I'm always on the fence. I got to play both ends
Right.
in the middle. So, you know, I had to back up because it was, you know, you bring that trauma in your house, your children feeds off that. And I
Very
could let my kids feed off what I fed off growing up.
interesting. How about you, Anna? How's that affected you so far? And does it still affect you?
Ask the question again. What did you say? What was the
Not
question?
not having a father in your life, that father figure, how has it affected you so far? Not only for choosing men and boyfriends, just in your everyday life, or the way you think, or just within your soul.
Well, I just want to say this, that when I turned 35 years old, my father came into my life. We found my father, and we tried to establish a relationship with him, and we tried hard. I tried hard, and it went good for a little while, but everything went right back to square one. You wasn't there for me, and you're not there for me, and you never will be there for me. Not the way a daughter needs a father to be there. So yeah, it affected me real bad because I just I go on I go on my it really is not that bad, because once you accept that your father's not going to be in your life, you have to go on.
Right, move on.
You got to move on. You can't be stuck on that. You can't be stuck on, oh, I don't got a father, and then no, your life goes on, so you have to keep it pushing. So that's what I do. I just keep it moving.
And
You
that's
know,
the same thing the young lady in part one said. You just got to move on,
it
and what
is.
about you?
That's
So
right.
that's another common denominator. You can't let it bother you. You have to keep move on. Now, nobody said it's going to be easy.
Well,
Nobody said it's going to be painless, but you have to
I
do it.
know, because I'm gonna tell you something. My father coming into my life hurt me more than him not being in my life,
Wow.
Can you explain how?
because
Why?
because oh my God, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Well, it hurts so bad knowing that your father's right there, but he doesn't cater to you the way you want it. It hurts when he don't pay you attention, or you're trying to reach out and he's just not there. I mean, he might look like he's there in the beginning, but something is an obstacle, maybe another female or something in the way, so he's not giving his all. So it hurts. It hurts when he ignores you. It hurts when he don't pay no attention to you. It hurts even being a grown woman. It hurts when you call him and he don't answer his phone. It hurts. I don't care how old you are. You have to have a relationship, and you're trying to have a relationship with a father, and he's not acting like a real father, like the love that you think you're supposed to get. It hurts so bad. It hurts real bad. It does.
So is it safe to say that you specifically that you never really got over it?
To this day, I probably not, because my father, I watched my father die.
Oh man, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, he just died a couple of years ago, and I didn't have that solid relationship that I really could have had with him, but I didn't have it with him, and
Mm.
it hurt real bad because he wasn't there. And so when my mother used to say, "Oh, your father ain't no good," she was right. He wasn't no good. Because regardless, I don't care what it is, because if you have a child and you love your child, you're going to be there for your child. I'm telling you, regardless of
Absolutely.
whatever happened with my brother had to learn a hard lesson from my father. Because of what my father's action did, my brother, his children, I don't care if he don't love his wife, he's there for them. He's not letting them, he's not going to treat them, he's not going to let them be without a father or
That's
be
right.
without a mother, because he know what he did to him.
Mm.
Right.
Good man. So I have a question for you, Keisha.
Hmm.
Because Anna said that her father passed away. As far as you know, is your father still alive?
I have no idea, none. But I don't feel she's still hurting. I left my her to go a long time ago, and that's because her father came. At least he came back, try to come back to her life. I couldn't miss anything or hurt for something that I never had, that was never there. I could be on the bus with this man every day and don't even know who he is.
Yeah, you have to have a comparison. And
Yeah,
I
you
have a
know what I mean?
comparison,
Right.
yes.
And I didn't have that. You know,
Yes.
I had people who protected me. I knew who my protectors were, but I never had a father figure around that I can
Right.
say, you know, that picked me up when I fell, or if I had a bad day. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have that. Now, what I do hurt for is I wish I could give, especially my boys, give them a grandfather, you know. And it's unfortunate that they are growing, and just like me, never gonna know if he's living or if he's dead. They never gonna know who he is as well.
Well,
And
do
I
you?
realized I repeated, like, it's only three of us with my mother. We all have our own fathers. And I realized, you know, they always say you're a product of where you came from.
Yeah.
A lot of what I've done was a lot of what I seen and learned from my mother. So for me to get grip and try to make a change, I had to pull myself from out that hole and go, I'm not, this is something I'm not going to deal with. You know, it's unfortunate when the kid's father don't want to be bothered. I used to be negative about it, but I always tell him, if he needs you, or whenever you feel like you want to talk to him or whatever, like, don't think about my feelings, think about yours, because that's a relationship that y'all have to build and have with him. I don't have to have a relationship with him. And
Right.
with me being so, my father being absent out my life completely, I don't have no feeling towards it.
So
Right.
if you had the chance, or if you was to come in contact with him, would you want to start a relationship now with your father?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will open up the door and really, like, start with communication. Like, you know, it's a lot of stuff that I would want to know and hear it from you. Because, you know, when it's two parents, only parents only gonna tell you their side. But it's two sides to a story.
So Anna said she basically never got over it. And Keisha, have you got over it? Does it still bother you in some way or form?
When I had my first child, I got by then I was over it. Like I said, when I was younger, I wanted him there. I needed him to be there. Everybody else's father was there. I wanted him to be there. I wanted him, you know, to stop the hits and protect me from being beat and protect me from people hurting me. And at that, and when I reached that particular age, I'm like, I'm over it now. You know, you, like I said, you can't. It might be wrong thinking, but I just feel like you can't miss something that you ain't never had.
Well,
You know, When my father came around, it was like the same thing. I just wanted just to tell him everything, all the
Right,
bad things that
right,
happened to me
right,
because you wasn't there.
right.
And I did.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of like bothered him because he didn't want to be bothered with all that nonsense. Look, I wasn't there, so what can I do now? So what, you got molested? So what, you got mistreated? So what? So what? I wasn't there. So it hurts. It hurts just to have your father come into your life and still have to, realize that, you can never get that back.
Never, never.
You can never get that, like when you're coming up from a little child, that
Right.
bond that you have with your father and growing up in that love, the intimacy, you cannot ever get that back.
Let me ask you this question. Do you regret him coming back into your
Not
life?
at all. No, not at all. I love my father. It's just that he didn't love me the way I needed him to love me.
I'm
And that
sorry.
hurts. That hurts.
I'm
Still
sorry.
hurt.
Yeah, it still isn't. It still hurts her.
Yeah,
So
because I tried, but just it's you're right. I didn't even realize how hurt I am. Sometimes you just don't know when you start talking on something and then it affects you, then it has affected you.
It still affects you. It still
It
affects
does.
you.
It does. It does. It
so
does.
Anna, so
Yeah.
do you think that not having a father, it ruined your relationships that you had? And I say ruin is because you did say you didn't know what to think, you didn't know what to
It
expect.
has. It has. It
But do you
has.
think it ruined it because you didn't know how to act or react to the man? Does
Well,
that question make sense?
I
Do you
I I
understand?
I have to say this. I have to add a little bit more to it because the
Sure.
same like with her story. I had a situation with my side family with my mother, and then I felt like I was being abused. So I was getting beat up a lot, hit a lot. Everybody do something, and I get blamed for it. So I was taking on a lot, and I didn't know, you know. No, I wouldn't know how to love. I'm running to love. You even getting beat from that end, having nothing from that end. You looking for love like crazy. Now you looking for somebody to love you like, right away. I don't care. You don't care if it's bad. You just gonna try. You're gonna keep on going. You don't care because you're running. It's
Mhm.
bad.
How about you, Keisha? Same question. Or do I need to repeat it, or you remember the
Repeat
question?
it. Repeat it again.
I asked, since you didn't have a father in your life, has that reflected or affected you in your relationships? Has it ruined any of your relationships for
I
whatever
believe
reason?
so. I believe so.
Can't hold on to a
I
man.
believe so. When you don't know how to, and like we was discussing, when you're not shown love and all the things that's wrong, um, all the flags that come up, and you just sweep it underneath the rug because you don't want to see it, and you realize somewhere down the line I made the wrong turn. I believe as far as the choices of men that I chose to be in my life, I believe that that reflects from me looking for what I didn't get from my father, that I didn't get from home.
Right.
I believe that a lot of the choices of the men that I brought into my life and that I had children with, I love my kids, but if I could do it over, I would.
You mean a different pappy?
A
Different
right,
pappy?
different because I made, when you grow up in a house and the house is always from Sunday to Monday, to Sunday is the house is always in chaos. There's always craziness going on. That's what you think is normal. You think all the craziness is normal, and it
Huh?
took me having to step back and look and realize and say no, like this is not normal.
And you had to realize that years later, huh?
Right. And it took a while. It took a while. You know, when you don't learn something the first time, you repeat the same mistakes over and over.
That's right.
So I had a older person who schooled me and made me turn around and look back at the choices that I made and the reasons I did the things that I do. And it taught me growth. And she gave me strength. She showed me that I was better than the way that I was displaying myself the wrong way. That's why you attract the wrong person, the wrong kind of person.
Oh, I understand. And I'm not going to keep you much longer because I know it's
It's
Sunday
okay.
and
It's all
you
right.
got things to do, and she
I
probably got
ain't
to go
doing
grocery
nothing.
shopping.
I
So
don't have to do no grocery shopping today.
not today. But what I wanted to know, for you, Keisha, how does it feel when your daughter's father isn't in her life? How does that make you
It
feel?
kills me.
And
It kills me.
do you ever speak to her or give her advice or have conversations since you went through or are
Right.
going through the same thing?
It's hard because that's my baby, you know? And for him to walk across her like she's trash in the street, it hurts real bad. I If I could physically put my hands on him, I would, but I know it wouldn't solve any issues because this is something that you got to feel from the heart. So, you know, when she comes to me and it kills me when she asks me why my father don't love me and, you know, why he don't want to be a part of my life and, you know, why my grandmother's this way and my aunts and them is this way towards me. It hurts me because, I mean, only thing I could do is I'm going to tell you the truth before I tell you a lie.
Right.
And I want her to use that as her strength because I not constant like when she was talking about her art. She's very talented. When she's focused, she's focused. There's nothing she apply herself to that she can't succeed at. And I know that's when I see her off doing something, some type of craft. I know because her mind is working. And I consistently tell her that, you know, just pray for him. And if you feel like if he call you and you feel like you want to meet him or whatever the case might be, answer. And I tell him like, because that's something that he has to live with. That's a choice he has to live with. I don't want her to think that it falls on her. That's
Right.
not for you. That's for him. But it does hurt because I held her and she crawled up in my arms and like a baby and cried. You know, and I was searching for words and I didn't have the proper wording for her.
That,
Mm.
that reminds me of when I was young, because I used to do the same thing with my mother. And I used
Yeah,
to wonder about where's my father? Where's our father at? You
right.
know, and we used to go crying to my mother, you know.
But see the difference in between my daughter and her and her brother, she has a brother and they both have the same father.
That's good.
He have more love for his son than he have for his daughter. The
That
grandmother
is
have
not
more
good.
love for her grandson, and they make it perfectly clear to her. So I don't force her. Like if they having something, they'll call my son and he'll come to his sister and be like, she like, no, I don't want to go. I'm not gonna force her to do nothing because y'all never really wanted to be a part of her life. And I see this little girl that grew into a beautiful woman. I can't ask her to do no more than what she's doing. She's awesome.
It's
And
very intelligent.
I told him if he can't, but I told him too, if you can't see her for who she is,
Right.
you missing out.
That's his problem. That's
You
right.
missing out. That's a choice you're gonna have to live with. You're gonna have to discuss that with whoever it is that you got to discuss it with. Because one thing I never did, I never stopped her from. I'm spending money that I wasn't even getting for you taking care of them, for them to come over to see you, and for you to just ignore her.
Right.
So I'm angry and pissed when it comes to that, but I don't want her to hurt. I want her to be able to just put that behind her and just because I always tell her when you run, keep looking straight forward, because when you look back, it slows you down. She don't have no reason to look back.
Good advice. Good advice. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I can imagine that most women who have a child and the father of their child doesn't want to be involved, it must be physically, emotional,
It does.
psychological.
It hurts. It
Not only
hurts.
that, you got to raise them on your own. You got to deal
That's
with the
right.
problem. And that's good advice that you gave her. You know, and the bottom line is fathers are important. They say that they gotta father boys need their fathers, but girls need their fathers too. You know,
Absolutely.
there's a
It's
reason
a,
why
it's,
it takes two to make a child.
that's right. It's important for men to be in all their male or females, but for little girls, it's important because you know what? You don't want her to feel like, oh, okay, I gotta sleep with this guy so he could go get my nails done. Or, I gotta do this for this guy for him to, to acknowledge me. No, it's important for that father to show this daughter that all of this stuff that you can get all this stuff and do it on your own. If a man can't treat you the way that you see me treating your mother, or you see how I'm treating you, you don't need that man. And I always tell my God friends, please, your daughters play a part in their life. It's important.
That's for sure. And I have a question for you, Anna, because
Yeah.
you've been through this longer. You mentioned you were 64 years old, so you've been going through this for 6 decades. So no, but
God is
um,
good.
yes, that's what I'm
Amen.
saying. A lot of emotions, and you had to get a lot of knowledge out of it. So I
Yeah.
said that to say this. I'm sure that your advice could help someone, or your experiences could help someone.
Well,
So
first, let me just tell you this much. First of all,
yes,
little boys definitely need their daddy just as bad as a little girl.
Facts.
Because like I don't have no children, and I adopted a girl, and she was pregnant, so I can have me a grandbaby. So I do have me a grandbaby. And I
Uh-huh.
remember when my grandbaby was young, and every man that popped up around him, I promise you, I don't care what it was, what he looked like, how he looked, he always say, "Are you my daddy? Are you my daddy?
Oh,
Are you my daddy?" Every
that's
man,
sad. That's sad.
every man. That hurt
That's
me
sad.
to my heart.
Yeah, that's sad.
So yeah, girls and boys definitely, both of them needs their father.
It's
yeah,
important to
parents,
co-parent.
yeah, they needed parents. I
Yes, they
agree.
do. Yes,
So
they do.
Anna, what would you give any advice for some young lady or young girl that's watching this that's going through
I
growing up with their father?
I say that my advice to the young girls who don't have a father is for them to try their best to look into themselves, look inside themselves, and try their best to love themselves as much as they can, because that's all you got. Look to God, look to yourself, look inward.
What would you tell them not to do?
Well, what not to do is chase every man and every woman for love, because the love is not there. The love is going to be inward. It's going to be inside you. You can't
Mm,
go chasing it here and there, and Tom, Dick, and Harry can't do it, because it's not going to work until you love yourself. You're not
That's
going to
right.
get no real love
Mhm.
from
wow.
nobody.
Go ahead, Anna. I ain't never
Love
seen
yourself.
you get down like that.
Well,
So,
that's the way
and
it is. That's the
right,
truth.
right. And I got one question for you next, Keisha, but this is my final question for you, Anna.
Yes.
If you, well, unfortunately, he's passed away, but if you could tell your father something right now, what would you say to him? What would you want him to know? Or anything, what would you ask him? Whatever it is, question, statement,
Well,
comment.
I really can't say that, because I can't tell him that. I can't say that I love him, because I know that he knows that I loved him. So that
Mhm.
would not be the question, for to say that I love him. No, that wouldn't be it. So any question, I don't know.
Well, anything. It doesn't have to be a question. What would you say to him if you could?
Well, I would have said you should have been a better father and
Simple
loved
as
your
that.
children. Yeah, he could have. You could have been a better father.
Tell him how it affected you. Him not being
It's
a
tough,
better father. Tell
but
him.
It
Make
affected
believe
me.
I'm him
You want me to make believe that you are my daddy?
and tell him how it affected you that he wasn't in your life. That's how real I want it to be.
Oh,
If you can take yourself there, that might be a
I just
process.
took you there with my tears and let you know. I told you that hurt. Okay, my father, like I said, if you was in my life, this wouldn't have happened to me. I wouldn't have got molested. I wouldn't have got raped. I wouldn't have ran away from home. I wouldn't have did all those things. I wouldn't have been running to Tom, Dick, and Harry and getting the wrong guy. I wouldn't have get beat up and hit and abused by different men because I don't know what's going on. I was messed up. So because of that, I didn't know love.
Mm.
And I experienced stuff that I could have been dead from. It could have killed me.
That was the greatest summary I ever heard.
Thank you.
For real. What about you, Keisha? If you could tell your father something right now, what would you tell him? Or ask him, whatever, your choice.
I would tell him, thank you for helping give me life. And I am awesome. And your grandchildren are awesome. And
All
you
right.
just missed out.
All right.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, okay. Well, I want to thank you ladies for taking time out on this Sunday
You're welcome.
for the
No
Toxic
problem.
Magazine Everything Old School podcast. It was very informing. And I hope the listeners and the watchers, and I hope there are some men out there who see this and think twice
Yeah.
and say, I got to call my daughter.
I
Yeah.
hope so.
At least tell her
It's
I
never
love
too
her.
late. It's never too late.
Say that again.
I said it's never too late.
One more time in case they got to listen with their good ear.
It's never too late. Pick up that phone.
That's right.
Any last words for you, Anna?
No, it's just that I would let everybody know that they must seek the kingdom of heaven first before anything.
Amen. And I'm sorry for you going through and still dealing with what you're dealing with.
No, I'm not dealing with it. It's just when I talked about it, it came
Yeah,
up.
it hurts.
You
Yeah,
know,
I'm just saying
I have a lot of
sorry
other
for
things
you,
I'm
but
dealing
you
with
still
right
hurt.
now.
I'm just saying I'm sorry that you still hurt from it,
Well, thank you, love. Thank you so much, baby.
Mhm.
All right. So till the next time, and thank you. And I wish everybody a good day, a good week,
You
a good
too.
month,
God bless
a
both of
good
y'all.
new year.
You
And
too.
thank you so much.
All right. You
All
welcome,
right.
love.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Be
And,
blessed.
and to all the fathers out there, be a father to your children.
Yes.
That's right.
Boys or girls, they need you.
Absolutely.
Yes, they do.
Absolutely.
Enjoy
Peace
your day.
out. You too.
All right. Later.
Yes.